check. Hey, thank you so much. My name is Anna, and it is, hi. It is so nice to be here. I don't care how windy it is. I hope it gets more windy. I'm not a comedian, I swear. So thank you so much to Dr. Steve Cook and Coralie for having me out here in the Oracle Piano Society. What you guys have here is awesome. I love it. I think it's really wonderful. This has been a really strange year for everybody, and this is probably one of the first times I've played in public for almost a year. I play in private a lot, but nobody's invited to that except for really strange people. If anyone wants to hear about any of those stories, I'd be happy to tell you them all after the concert. Okay. So that was the song that we just played was one of my favorite pieces written by pianist Fred Hirsch, who's out of New York City. That was called Heart Song. That is an example of a song that I never play at the White House. Okay. All right, so let's get into something else. What are we doing? Night in Tunisia? Yeah. This is Night in Tunisia. Check Matt McClintock on drum set. Joe Garcia, percussion. Matt, you're just mean at the end there. You know I can't count. Did you get lost? I got lost. Thank you. It's been a minute. All right, it's been a minute for all of us. It's almost like the music has been kind of taken away. I mean, when was the last time you were at a live concert? It was here. I mean, this is an amazing outdoor space. The East Coast is shut down. You know, so many jazz clubs have closed their doors forever. Orchestras are done. People are moving home. It's really scary and sad. It's scary and sad to be a performing artist during a time like this. So it's really cool that you have a community here that supports live music and the arts, and I'm really thankful to be a part of it. Anyway, for this next song, I'm going to introduce a good friend of mine, Dwayne Durad from Taos, who is a retired, now you're a poet. You're whatever. So anyway, I'm going to have him introduce this next song. It was written by a Canadian, an English friend of mine, and I'll have Dwayne introduce it. But musically speaking, I want you to think of this not so much as a piece of music, but like a meditation for what we've been through over the last year and a half. Think about what you've lost and what you've gained. And we will be doing that too up here on stage together. So this is my friend Dwayne.
So she handed me a microphone. Anything can happen. So back probably around Christmas time, AnnaMaria called me, and we kind of had not seen each other for quite a while, and we hadn't talked. And we talked for a long time, and it was great. And then she says, well, I called you because I wanted to talk to you, but I want something. I'm like, what do you want? So she told me about this concert, and she wanted to know if I had anything that would go along with the theme of the concert. And I said, you know, I think maybe I do. So I sent her a poem, and she really liked it. And at that point, she thought, number one, that there was going to be a video, a short video on the Manchester train bombing, and at the beginning of the concert. So she really liked the poem I sent. And then she said, can you write something for me to say at the beginning that brings the pandemic together with the Manchester, England train bombing? And I said, I don't know, let me think about it. So I wrote a paragraph. So I'm telling you all of this because things have changed, and the paragraph assumes that the video is going to happen, and then the poem is going to be read. So that the video is not happening, but I think this paragraph still makes sense for us all. So, and she told me about a word that's, I guess, fallen out of use. And the word is respair, R-E-S-P-A-I-R. So the paragraph, title is Respair. I'm going to read a poem before you see the video, Respair. The poem is focused on the worldwide pandemic, while the video is focused on the Manchester train bombing. The Manchester train bombing was a single event, the news of which rippled out to the world. The despair caused by the train bombing was local. It started with the individuals who were injured or killed and rippled outward into and through their families and on to their community. The pandemic started with a single event, the news of which rippled out to the world, soon followed by the disease spreading to the entire world. The despair initiated by the infected individuals is local and ripples into and through their families and onto their communities. These countless pools of despair interfuse until they overlay the entire world. The respair, the return to hope after a period of despair, so sorely needed to begin to assuage the pain caused by these events, must begin locally, spread through the affected individuals, their families, their communities, and beyond to the world. So the poem, and bear with me as I struggle with the wind and these sheets of paper, it's called Pandemic, and it was written probably in March, when in New Mexico we understood that it was real and it was here and it was frightening. Pandemic. Recently I heard that the mass graves in New York City are nearly full. The graves that in the past were for the poor, the homeless, now are nearly filled with the entire range of New York City's population. One of the starkest scenes I've ever seen in a movie was in Amadeus. A wagon pulled up to an open pit. Mozart's body in a burlap bag was tossed into it. I never imagined that in my lifetime I would see it happening in the United States. Maybe I have lived too long, or maybe I have not lived long enough for the universe to teach me what I need to know. Recently, I read a poem that had some aspirations for 2020. It ends like this. Who knows what else needs to die? To die, so I have room within me to allow everyone the space they need to be exactly who they need to be. And I can become exactly who I should be. It appears to me that this worldwide pandemic, this worldwide dying, is the universe suggesting that we reconsider who we are, that we reconsider all our relationships. Our relationships as individuals, our relationships as citizens of the world, our relationships as societies, as religions, as countries. There is room. There is so much more room for more kindness, more love, more compassion. The questions must be asked, and asked again and again. What needs to die so many people don't have to continue dying? We need to get to good questions, get uncomfortable with them before we can have hope for good answers. So after I send her those two things, she says, you know, can you write something about despair? And it's like, I don't know. Let me see. So this is what came. Despair. The return to hope after a period of despair. A period of despair, a period of time in a place where there's no room for hope. Hope crowded out, crowded away by fears, wrongs, and specters of wrongs yet to come. Wrongs that took the room from the stage of our living. Filled it with grief, anxiety, and pulsating fear. A black hole sucking our energy, physical and emotional. Until there is no more. Hope. Gone. Gone too far. for us ever to feel again, to see again. But maybe, just maybe, it had stepped from the stage to wait. To wait for us. To wait for us to dwell with our losses, our specters, our fears of losses. To become tired enough to become quiet enough to settle into our despair until somehow, without knowing how, individually, collectively, we send out a cue that invites hope back onto the stage of our living. Because despair has withered, there's room for hope. Room again on the stage for hope. She was waiting in the wings until we were ready. Ready for despair.
Thank you, Dwayne. Got a little My Romance coming up.
We've never done that before. And we will never do it again. Quite like that. All right, we have one last medley for you guys, but before we get to it, I would like to introduce you to the band. I wish the wind would pick up. Yeah. I don't even really need this. I'm not sure what's happening right now. Okay. Thank you, Dwight. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to make it up as I go along, I think. All right. So, again, thank you very much for having me here. Thank you to Steve Cook, Coralie, the Oracle Piano Society. Let's hear it for them. They're doing a great thing. And send an email to Steve. Let's get some jazz back out here again. All right? This is too much fun. So as you guys I think you mentioned it, Steve, when you were talking about me a little bit before. I went to Arizona State. I came down from Anchorage, Alaska, and when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to really listen to rock and roll at all. Not sure why, but I was allowed to listen to jazz music, and because of that, I became obsessed with it. And I absolutely love classical music, and I love performing it and playing it and learning it, but there's something about having the freedom to improvise and play with people and not know what's going to happen that I find it exciting. I think it's fun. Most of what you heard tonight is the first time I've heard it. And that's because we're listening, and it's cool. It's cool. So anyway, I am also a classical pianist, and people sometimes ask me what my favorite piece of music is, which is a really kind of a terrible question to ask a musician. But if I was forced to pick one thing that I could only listen to for the rest of my life, it would probably be the Rachmaninoff Second Piano Concerto, which probably you've heard of, I'm assuming. Yes? Yes? Okay. So anyway, we play it all the time. Happens all the time. So anyway, I mashed a theme from the Rachmaninoff Second Piano Concerto that I love so much with a standard that I like called The Nearness of You. So the last medley that we're going to do is an arrangement of mine called The Nearness of You, Rock 2. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to the band. So the fantastic bass player up here on stage to my left is Dwight Killian. On drum set, we have Matt McClintock. He's only 15. We're old. We get to make fun of you. Joe Garcia on percussion. How old are you? 21. He's 21. And Dwayne Gerard, thank you for coming down from Taos and reading that poetry. That was really beautiful. And he's 25. Okay. Hey, I'm about to retire from the Marine Corps, so you never know how old people or young people are. I'm Anna. Thank you so much for having me out. We'll get through these couple of tunes and maybe see you in the fall or the spring sometime. Thank you so much for having me. you.